Hello, hello, hello. We are live for the Xander Gibb Show. Click that share button now. We're just going to let the feeds fill and let the news end on the places where it goes out. Oh, yes, sirree. I'm just going to share the feed to my page and set up the chat so we can talk a little because it's good to talk. Oh, yes, Cherie. So I'm just getting the address so I can share on the page. You can share it too. Don't be shy. Give it a try. Well, you know you might like it. You might. You really might. Oh, yes, Cherie. That was me in the background. Yes, we are live, and we are just sharing the feed. I'm just getting my feed, because as you get older, your eyes get to a point where you really do need, things to be bigged up a little. And now I'm 35. I need that. Oh, yes, sirree. We play a drinking game on this show also. Every time I say the phrase, yes, sirree, you got to take a nip of whatever it is that's your poison tonight. Whether that be whiskey or coffee or, orange juice, you name it. So I'm just going to share on Facebook to the various sites that we go out to. I promise you I will say hello to everybody in the live feed in just one moment. I really need a producer that will deal with all the technical stuff, and the one that will also share to all of the pages. Let me turn off this dingy ding ding thing so you don't have to hear it. Just share it in a group called It's Okay to Be White. Only in 2020 do we have to affirm that it's okay to be white. But there you go. It's okay to be black too, so don't write in. Because believe me, people do. As a talk show host and political commentator, I'm always getting emails from silly people that take your words and twist them. And because I'm everything from anti-woman to homophobic to racist, you name it, I'm it. But we know that it's all just deflection. And we will be talking about deflection. I'm dying to cough, but I'm afraid if I do, a lot of you... there we go. Let me just clear my throat. A lot of you will just be a little afraid and think that I've got the COVID-19, the terrible Chinese virus. But we can't call it the Chinese virus either, although it originated from China. Oh, yes, sirree. There's another one for you. I think we're nearly there. Yes. Please share it to your group and your page. And I believe we are ready to get started. Oh, yes, sirree. Good evening to everybody. And we are going to go live with opening titles in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rest. This is Well, hello and welcome to the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking. I am, of course, Xander Gibb, because who else would I be? On today's show, we have some very special guests. They are regulars on the show. We have Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck, who is the anchor, and in part two, we're joined by the co-host from Freedom on Deck, so it really is a Freedom on Deck takeover by CV Berton. We're going to give you the chance to call in and give your opinion on what's going on in the world this week on 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. When we get to that point, you can have your say in the feed below. And as I said, you can call in when we get to that point. And that number is, if you're in the USA, 845-363-4747. It's up there, or maybe it's up there. I can never. Let's get this. Let's get this right for a change. It's up there. No, it's up there. There. There you go. It's great to be concise. I will, of course, be back on the Joe Messina Show, aka The Real Side, at 7 Pacific. You can follow me on social media, and you can check me out at Xander Gibb. Let's just have a quick look at the live feed. Hello to everybody in there. Welcome. Let's just go backwards and say hello to people. Hello to John. Hello to Chet, who is one of my guests tonight. Hello to Alan. Welcome. Hello to CV, who is my guest in part two. Hello to Dave. Hello to, who else is there? Hello to everybody else that's watching but isn't in the live chat. Come into the live chat, because we don't bite. Well, I might if I'm pushed, and especially if you are AOC, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Very interestingly, this week, today actually, Boris Johnson tested positive for COVID-19. Now, there is a little bit of contempt about that. Some people are saying that he's actually not really tested positive, and it's just to encourage people not to go out, because this is Boris's thing right now. You have to stay in until the pandemic is over. But even though I have tested positive for COVID-19, I could still do my job because I'm a public school boy. We do obviously wish him the best of health, and if he is indeed infected with COVID-19, we want him to stay safe and well as a leader. In the same week that Prince Charles was diagnosed with COVID-19, Boris Johnson even had to do his weekly meeting with the Queen over the telephone. I can just imagine how that conversation would go. Hello, Queenie. How is the world with you? Hello, Boris. Everything is wonderful, but don't come to the palace, because we don't want you infecting us, you little public schoolboy. So last night we did this thing in the UK. I don't know if you realize this. Everybody went to their front door and gave a round of applause, was clapping for the NHS. That's the National Health Service. That's those that take care of us here. And also healthcare workers, because they are amazing to be carrying on in this current climate. We'll just throw that phrase in there right now. And also, I want to give a personal special shout out to the NHS in the UK, because when after I'd had my car crash, they saved my leg. So the British healthcare system gets a huge bashing, but I personally want to thank them for giving me a chance at saving my leg, and thank you for doing that. Thank you to all the wonderful doctors and nurses. As we talked about already this week, Nancy was holding America to ransom regarding the Corona stimulus package, and AOC wants cash for illegals. What do you guys think about that? Tell us in the chat. What else did I want to tell you? No, Chet, that's Prince Andrew. That is what you said. Mr. Hi to Jane. Welcome. You are more than welcome. Hello to Brett. Welcome to the show. Make sure you click that share button so other people know that we're going live, because we're actually going live an hour earlier in the UK because British summertime apparently began earlier in New York than it did in, well, not in New York, but in the United States than it actually did in the United Kingdom. The clocks go forward on Sunday tomorrow. So a message from Boris Johnson to say, don't forget to make sure you put your clocks forward on Sunday night and to watch the Xander Gibb show. Yes, for sure. I just have to share the YouTube link for this because there are a lot of people that actually like to watch this on the TV, which is absolutely fine too. I don't care where you watch it, as long as you watch it, as long as you share it, etc., etc. Put your clocks forward. So there you go. When you go over to a different channel to see what's going on, you inevitably have to see yourself and hear yourself too. We've probably got time for one call. If you are in the United States, you can call us on 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. And if you are in the United Kingdom, mate, you can call us on Skype. You can Skype me at Xander Gibb. Oh, yes, sirree. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to watch it back on the TV. I mean, obviously, I'm on the TV all the time, you know, being a big celebrity. But it's kind of funny. The funniest thing is a couple of times when I've been in movies and they have a screening of the movie, so you see yourself, you know, kind of, 30 feet tall on the screen. Hello to Alan. I hope you are well and you are doing good. I want to give a bit of a shout out to all of the people out there who are self-employed. I'm really glad that Boris Johnson got his finger out. Well, it was probably more Rishi than Boris in order to make sure that you guys got paid. And it's not the best deal. I mean, it's 80%. And there are a lot of hoops to jump through, and they're not going to give you anything for 3 months, which I think is disgusting. Because how are you supposed to survive for 3 months? But what I think we all need to be pushing for in all of this, and I want you all to remain safe, I really do, because, if everybody dies of the coronavirus, who is there going to be to watch my show? I'm joking. Don't write him. But what I think we should all be pushing for is assessment points. Like, Donald Trump has already pointed out that by Easter, he wants to look into putting people back to work, which I think is fair. I'm not saying that the Easter point is fair. I'm saying that the assessment points are fair. And I'm hoping that they'll do the same thing in the UK, because already, there's been a lockdown for like 2 weeks. Some people have actually lost their businesses already. Some people are reliant on being able to open every single day. And yes, I get it before you start saying, oh, well, people's health has to come first. Yes, people's health does have to come first. But what about people's livelihoods during and after this situation? So the government needs to put its hand deep in its pocket. One of the other interesting things this week that has come about and people have been talking about is the fact that everyone's in debt to China. The UK, the United States, everybody has a debt to China. People are talking about not paying that back now because they handled this so badly. They didn't tell people what was happening with regards to the coronavirus, and they didn't let people know early on enough that this was happening and that this was clearly a concern. But the biggest concern for me is this has to be handled properly. I also think that there's an underlying thing with regards to the fact that they're going on about saying, oh, the ozone is really clear now, after a few days of not flying. and all of these things. And again, don't write in. I do think we should be taking care of the planet, but I think in fairness, we should be taking care of people first. And that's an imperative for me. We've got time for one quick call, 845-363-4747. If you want to actually come on and get on your soapbox regarding any issue, you can you can contact me via my website, xandergibb.com/contact. That's xandergibb.com/contact. And we will arrange for you to call in. And you can get off your chest whatever you are, whatever is pissing you off. Hello to my Gina. Welcome to the show. It is great to have you, and it's great to have everybody else that's in the live feed and listening. If you are listening to the show and you're not in the live feed, come and join us. Come and have your say. Everyone's opinion is valid, and nobody gets attacked for disagreeing because we're not Democrats. Oh, no, we are not. Had my hair done today, so I got rid of my roots. Not going back to my roots, I decided it was time that I had it done. And the problem is when you go on any live broadcast, you see all of your flaws. You see all of your double chins. Although mine is disappearing and I can see I have a facial shape again. I'm still on the keto diet. I've lost about 118 pounds to date. I still want to lose more. But it is, it's getting easier to do. I don't know whereabouts you live, but, grocery shopping has become very hard for people, especially those in the community that are vulnerable. So if you can help out your neighbors, give them a knock, from 2 meters, knock on the door, then stand 2 meters away. Or give them a call and see if you can order anything for them if you get your grocery shopping delivered. That would be a good thing to do, because one thing that we must remember, and I'm waiting for this kind of like 9/11 moment, and in the UK too, I want people to remember that during times of crisis, our differences actually don't matter, and what is imperative is that we look out for one another and ensure. And I know I joke about except Democrats, but I don't really mean that. I may vehemently disagree with some of the most of their policies, but I don't want them harmed or hurt. Dave says I look like a doctor now. Yes, hello, this is Dr. Gibb. I'm going to write you a prescription for love. I'm going to start to introduce my next guest. He's going to call in very soon. He's a regular on the show. His name is Chet Martin, and he is from Freedom on Deck. And he's got so much to tell us about his experiences with social media in the past couple of days. A lot of us, I was doing a live on Wednesday, and I got something to say that I was banned for 90 days. I couldn't post, and I couldn't do anything. And I came off right away, and I tested the theory, and I wasn't banned. So I think Facebook is trying to scare us into behaving, which is maybe what the government is trying to do. So this should be my first guest, Chet Martin, calling from Long Island. How is the world with you, sir?
I'm good. I'm in quarantine right now, finishing the second week of quarantine. So
right.
I'm all right. I still go to the grocery store. I still take walks.
Right.
And back to work next week, supposedly.
Yeah. Do you still go to the liquor store, though? Because for me, that's an imperative. Because, here, you can't get liquor deliveries unless you get it with your groceries. So, it's imperative to still do your liquor store collection.
I would, but I don't drink anymore.
You
so
don't drink?
Not going to the liquor store.
Wow.
I have been drinking way too much soda, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't drink soda anymore. I drink carbonated water, which apparently people are saying that's bad for you now. I mean, the air is bad for you, so I don't know what they're going to suggest next. So before
now we can't walk around and be around.
Yeah, exactly. So before we jump into our first topic, I wondered if you wanted to share your experiences what you'd been banned from Facebook for this time? Because it's getting pretty pathetic, right?
Well, it's pathetic because this is the third time they've gotten me from a very old post. I mean, this post they got me for last night. And by the way, I'll let you know, it was a 24-hour ban.
Right.
I really, honestly, when I saw it, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I thought they got me for another month because that's what they did last time when they hunted down an old post from me. So it's from 2017. The post was about Obama. And I think at the end of it, I said, we have to stop bringing so many from the religion of pieces. That's what they got me for.
So I don't. So it was a play on words with regards to the religion of peace, and they didn't like your. But they're aren't they grasping at straws now? I know they've banned them in California, but clearly they're grasping at straws. I mean, I was banned. My latest ban is for talking about Tommy Robinson in a post from 2 years ago. I mean, to me, I cannot be expected to be psychic. You know, it's not Mystic Xander show. It's the Xander Gibb show. I can't be expected to be psychic. So now we have to be careful the things that we post won't piss them off in the future.
And yours was a picture of Tommy Robinson. I remember it.
Yeah.
And, you know, a few months later, they banged me. Not really banged me, not sexually, of course. But they...
Aren't you lucky?
They banged... they banged me for a picture of the whistleblower, if you remember, Eric Charmelli.
Yeah.
And they announced, don't share his picture. I was like, they can't do anything about me sharing a picture.
No.
They did.
Yeah. It's kind of... I kind of feel like Zuck was bullied at school. You know, this is why he ended up having to get a mail order bride. You know, I was going to have his wife on the show and talk to her. And my first question would have been, so what attracted you to multimillionaire Mark Zuckerberg? Because it ain't his looks. But, you know, we decided not to have her on the show. But I heard, I don't know if you heard this, but apparently one of the new shareholders of Twitter is a conservative. Did you hear that?
I did. I didn't look into it enough. I would, you know, sometimes when they qualify what a conservative is, it's something totally different from what we're thinking.
Yeah.
As far as somebody with Twitter, it would just be nice to have people that run with the idea of being able to have different political thoughts.
Right.
And supporting the First Amendment.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, I'm not asking them to hire, you know, Michael Savage. I'm asking you to put some people in place that think the same way we do and think that it's okay if we say it, even if they don't agree with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think you know, it's funny. I was having this conversation with Joe today, Joe Messina, talking about how, you know, there's a singer that I really like. And his name is Ben Platt. He's a Broadway singer, but he writes his own stuff. I'm not crushing on him, though, before you ask. And I found out this week that he was a liberal. And I thought, well, does that make me like his music any less? And I'm like, no. Because, you know, I'm a bit more kind of resolved and refined than maybe I used to be. But I could never watch Kathy Griffin again by the same token, but she's gone too far as I'm concerned.
Did you see she was trying to say she had the coronavirus?
Yeah.
And that Trump gave it to her. Meanwhile, when she's sharing the video, she's at like some resort. There's no oxygen or anything hooked up to her. It ended up being a stomach bug.
Yeah.
This woman is completely delusional.
Total
and was
ascension seeking.
And I told her, I said, this is the first time you've actually been funny in 30 years.
I bet you love that. Did she reply or did she block you? Or
I had to.
You know, it's kind of worrying. So let's jump into this first topic because today the House passed a $2 trillion coronavirus epidemic stimulus, and President Trump is expected to sign it quite quickly. And the legislation, which was passed unanimously by the Senate on Wednesday, provides relief for workers and businesses that have been devastated by the outbreak. No bill is perfect, but we want to make sure that at least it comes part of the way to being sufficient, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said ahead of the vote. I do think that when they're considering a bill, appreciate it for what it is rather than the bill, rather than judge it for what it's not in the bill. But we do know that we must do more. And in other news, AOC is pissed that there is no money in the package for illegals. But why would there be, Chet?
Illegals and refugees.
Yeah.
The last thing we need to be worrying about right now. And just so AOC is clear on this, the southern border is shut down right now. I'll tell you, whether you agree with the president or with the Democrats about what this virus is, you have to agree that our views on the southern border have to change after this.
Of course.
I would think that even somebody like AOC would see the dangers of bringing people in from other countries, and for the most part, third world countries. Look at what happened look what's going on in Italy and Europe, Xander.
But in fairness, I think the A in AOC stands for agenda because she clearly had one before she even got the job. And I'm not convinced she's actually really a politician. I think she's a plant. I think she's an actress that works on a paid basis and will say exactly what they want her to say, because nothing what she's saying makes sense.
A lot of what you're saying is absolutely true, and there's videos of her, basically admitting that. So,
wow.
there is a concern with all this that the Democrats are now creating this extreme left of their party, and they're trying to go in that direction. It's just the American people do not want socialism. We know it doesn't work anywhere else. So, folks like AOC and the squad, they're dangerous people, and the most dangerous person in the Democrat Party is Nancy Pelosi, because she gave them this platform, and she listened to everything they had to say.
Yeah.
A lot of the stoking and trying to impeach the president was brought on by the squad, Xander.
Of course. And the worry for me is all of that time spent fighting this impeachment could have been used in preparation, for COVID-19. And so they want to criticize him for that. But maybe if he hadn't had to waste all that ridiculous time fighting an impeachment that was basically accusing him of what they had done, maybe we wouldn't be in the situation we are now.
Well, you're absolutely right. You see, the Democrats are playing up the numbers right now. They're gleeful about the numbers being so high in America. Actually, they're saying we surpassed China. Well, here's the deal, folks. China has stopped testing their people.
Yeah.
China is not going to tell you the numbers they have.
No,
anyway.
Of course not.
They wouldn't even admit that this was contagious when it was spreading around China. So why is the liberal left stream media using China's numbers as an example? It makes me totally sick. And I don't know if you saw Hillary. For some reason, I get alerted on her tweet, Xander, and I don't know why.
How nice for you.
She put out, a picture of these tents in America where people are being quarantined, and she actually tweeted out, well, he did say America first, as if she's happy about this. And that's, and they all are. All the messaging coming from the left right now about people dying in America, they seem gleeful.
Well, why would you expect anything else? Because the Democrats haven't cared about Americans for God knows how long. Since way before, even before Obama. I mean, when Obama came into action as president, it kind of got worse from there as far as I'm concerned. That was one of the reasons why I had to leave the Democrats, because for me, they actually cared more about illegal immigrants and refugees than they did, American people. And let's face it, it's the American people that share this. They share their taxes every week, and they're the ones that keep the country afloat, not refugees and immigrants. They don't do that.
No, and we should be rallying behind the president. And it really makes me sick because if Obama was in office right now, they'd be saying how great a job he was doing. They'd sing his praises. Don't say anything about Obama, or
No.
you're just charging up with conspiracy
Yeah.
theories. Instead, they jumped on Trump saying he didn't do enough. The thing is, guys, all of you folks in the House and on the Senate floor need to realize that while you were pumping out these agendas that none of the American people wanted, if you looked at the polls going about impeachment, nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted to look into this collusion with Russia, which is what the Democrats were doing, not President Trump. And they continued down that path. All the while, coronavirus was happening in China, and they didn't do a damn thing to see what was going on,
Right.
whether they should have looked at some of the numbers that
For sure.
China was providing, what was going on over in Italy, all these numbers that they wouldn't look at because they don't give a crap. And
So-
the honest truth is they are enjoying this right
Of
now.
course they are. So what's your take on this ideology that people are talking about? Because the USA and the United Kingdom both have debts to China. I just want to say China. Do you think that they should let them foot some of the bill and take a proportion of that from what they owe them? Because I think that that's fair.
I think it's fair. I think a lot of people have brought this up, but the problem for me always stems back to what Bubba Clinton did, and which got worse under the times with Obama and Bush, and that's the fact that all of our pharmaceuticals come from China.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we probably will not be able to have them foot any of the bill because then they'll be withholding things that we need.
Yeah, I didn't think about it from that perspective. This is why we have to start manufacturing both in the UK and the United Kingdom, because Europe kind of did a very similar thing with the UK. The majority of asthma and diabetes drugs that come into the UK come from Europe. But surely we need to start. This is a wake-up call. We should never be in this position again. We should make sure that our manufacturing and sourcing is not from people that can control us through those things. I wanna move topic just because we're time bound. Now, Democrats have said yesterday that they planned to expand its use of an advertisement, which is critical of President Trump's response to the coronavirus pandemic, despite the Trump re-election campaign efforts to stop it. Now, on Wednesday, his campaign sent cease and desist letters to local television stations because they were running an ad in Florida, Michigan, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, all expected to be swing states critical in November's presidential election because of what it considers to be a false assertion that Donald Trump referred to the virus as a hoax. Now, we all know what he said was that the Democrats' response was a hoax, and he's threatened litigation if stations refuse to pull the ad. Isn't it fair that he does that? Isn't that disingenuous and libelous?
Well, when they take a video and they splice it, absolutely, it's fair.
Right.
They didn't play what he said.
No.
They manufactured the message, and it is a problem. And most people out there, from what I've seen, except for extreme leftists, even some liberals, say that wasn't right. A lot of people know what they're doing, Xander. There are going to be people that go to pull that lever that will not admit that they're going to vote for Donald J. Trump because the economy was doing so well. And all of a sudden we have this thing hit. Well, guess what, guys? His poll numbers are over 60% right now in the approval rating.
Absolutely.
In the approval rating, he has never been as high as he is today because he's shown good leadership. He has shown a toughness. And once again, the left stream media shows up and tries to pin it all on him. The American people aren't that stupid. We had one of the journalists yesterday asked him, what death number is okay with you? And he actually looked at the guy. He said, "What? No, none."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they treat him like he is dirt. He's the president of the United States. Treat him with respect.
I mean, I'm kind of disgusted at how they treat him and his family. I saw, what is the guy, Michael, an actor from New York, Michael, gosh, he got into trouble a few years ago for stalking his actress girlfriend. I can't think of his name, but the rant he had about her this week, the rant he had about Donald Trump and his family, calling Donald Trump Jr. an asswipe, and Michael Rappaport. The things that he said about the president and the president's family are absolutely disgusting. You know, if even now, if people said things on social media that about Barack Obama and his family, like this guy said, this Michael Rappaport said, they would be banned forever. There is absolutely, no line to be drawn with regards to this. And I think that ultimately, I thought that during a time in a run up to election, there had to be complete honesty from all in all advertising. So if that's the case, then maybe we can get us some money together for an ad to be aired that says that Joe Biden is dementing, because that would be just as bad, don't you think?
It is sad. There was somebody, a contributor, really a nothing. He's not much, but just a voice of the left wing propaganda machine. And I can't think of his name right now. He's not famous. You wouldn't know him if I told you his name. Okay?
Right.
But he actually said this week, and he tweeted it, Melania Trump should be injected with the coronavirus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how is
how
is that acceptable?
Remember when the leftist actor said that Barron Trump should be put in a cage with a pedophile?
Yeah.
That was Hanoi Jane's brother, Peter Fonda.
But I have tried an experiment before on Twitter where when you say something exactly the same but use a figure on the left, they ban you for it. So there's no, it's such a double standard. But the concern is for me, and quite right, CV, who's in the live feed right now, talking about having respect for the presidency. We didn't do this to Barack Obama, did we? Even as commentators, we talked about his policies. We didn't trash his pet family. We didn't trash his husband. We didn't trash, his mother-in-law. Sorry, did I say something funny?
And I'll tell you, Barack Obama's legacy gets worse every day. The whistleblower, Phil Haney, which is not in the news. We cover it all the time. Committed suicide. Everybody's saying he didn't commit suicide. They spoke about it on the Senate floor. They have you have video of people saying that the whistleblower for Fast and Furious was murdered. And then you find out that there were over 7,000 documents that he destroyed.
Wow.
I think I told you this probably a couple of nights ago, but it's important for people to hear this. 7,000 documents destroyed, and they pertained to radical Islamic terrorist groups on our shores.
Right.
And one of the documents were tied in to the San Bernardino shooter before he killed.
It's a worry.
Barack Obama is the cause for many of those terrorist
Absolutely.
attacks.
We got to leave it there. I'm sorry, Chet. But tell us very quickly who's going to be on your show on Sunday. Freedom on Deck, 3 till 5 Eastern.
Yes. Just bear with me 1 second. I'll get you. We have Matt Wiley coming on, and he is from Freedom Project USA. He's a great guy. They're working around the country, especially out on the East Coast, and he's a fantastic guy. Pro-constitutionalist, pro-2A, pro-Trump, great guy, making a difference out there, really exposing all the craziness from the Democrats. And then we have Ryan Meehan. He's running in the 5th Congressional District of Connecticut. He's a great guy. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's good-looking.
He's
and
good
I'm saying
looking.
that for a reason.
I'll be there.
He's the type of conservative GOP candidate that we need more of, and
Absolutely.
He's got a great message. He's got money behind him. He's gonna win it. I'm telling you, and he'll be on with Freedom on Deck. We need more Republicans like Ryan Meehan.
Definitely. I think I need to move back to America and run for office. But for now, Chet, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Give my best to your family, and stay safe out there, brother.
Thanks, Xander. Say hello to CV for me.
I will. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. That was Chet Martin, anchor from Freedom on Deck. Coming up next in this Freedom on Deck takeover, I'm glad I had my inoculations, is CV Berton, co-host of Freedom on Deck, who should be calling us any a second. Now we'll just have a quick look in the live feed. Hello to Melanie. I hope you're good. Hello to my good friend Swoop. How is the world with you, Mr. Swoop? Hello to everyone that's listening out there that's not in the live feed. Come and join us in the Facebook chat. Come and tell us what you think. Come and tell us what you think about what we're talking about. And come and tell us what you think about Barack Obama's husband. I mean, no, never mind. We don't want to get into trouble, do we? I mean, Barack Obama's wife. So please join me in welcoming back to the show. If I can get Skype to click on the one, the only, the fabulous Mr. CV Berton. Welcome back to the show, CV. How is the world with you, sir?
Everything is fine in this little parcel of land that I'm sitting on.
You're in a
Everything else has gone to pot.
You have a parcel of land, do you?
What's that?
You have a parcel of land?
I have a parcel of land that my house is sitting on that I'm paying through the nose.
I see.
On taxes.
Yeah.
To keep.
For sure. And how are you managing with regards to getting food and groceries and supplies and stuff?
Everything's pretty normal. I just, drive out to Walmart or Stop and Shop.
Right.
Try to not breathe on people. I try to have people not breathe on me. And I actually found toilet paper the other day.
Really?
So I bought, a bunch of, just one package, but it was a big package.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those hoarders.
No.
I don't hoard.
No, absolutely. I totally agree. And you say you found toilet paper. It wasn't someone else's that you stole it. You went and bought it from a store, right? Because we don't hold truck with that here. Good. Oh, no. Definitely we don't hold truck with used toilet paper. So I want to jump right in. White House officials yesterday tried to soothe the concerns regarding a so-called shortage of ventilators in hospitals, despite alleged reports suggesting the medical equipment was in dire shortage, specifically in New York City. Dr. Deborah Birx, the coordinator for the White House's coronavirus task force, said that during a press update on Thursday, there was no evidence that hospitals were facing a severe shortage of ventilators. Now, I saw yesterday that 4,000 were delivered to New York, because these things are not small things, and are sitting in a warehouse waiting for collection, with another 4,000 on the way. Now, isn't this just another attempt to do Trump down? And why is no one talking about the fact that the Obama administration failed to restock after H1N1, making it difficult to restock in such high proportions in response to an unanticipated pandemic?
Well, I take that lady's word for it because she definitely knows what she's talking about. And I love hearing her speak because she really, lays all these fears to rest.
Right.
And I like her better than I like Dr. Fauci. That little Dr. Fauci.
Yeah. Yeah.
That little Dr. Fauci guy.
Yeah. And wasn't he involved in the H1N1? I don't trust those that have worked with Barack Obama. I'm sorry, but
Well, Obama didn't work, like he would go golfing a lot, or you'd see pictures of him with his feet up on his desk, with a straw between his teeth or something. he wasn't really a hard worker, not like Donald Trump, not by any stretch of
No.
the imagination.
No.
And when that swine flu came around, he didn't really do that much to stop it. I think 18,000 people died from that one in America alone,
Yeah.
which is a far greater than this thing.
Yeah.
And the SARS virus is technically identical with this virus.
Right.
I mean, it's in the same family. In fact, a lot of scientists are calling this SARS-2.
Right. I'm glad I'm not the
Trump
only one that's.
headed off.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm glad I'm not the only one that's little cynical about this, because I still keep banging home, not to use the word banging just because Chet did, the fact that less people die every year of flu than are dying from COVID-19. So why is it categorized as a pandemic, and hasn't the response been a little too much?
Even Mario Cuomo, not Mario Cuomo, Anthony Cuomo.
Yeah, you're showing your age now, dude.
His dad. His dad was governor over here. We used to call him the Swasheen too, or Bob Grant used to call him the Swasheen.
Not
and now I call
Fredo
Cuomo
Senior.
Swasheen.
Not Fredo Senior. Them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And even Andrew Cuomo is starting to back down from his stance of, or his edict of shutting everything down, instead of, targeting areas that are the worst hit and industries that are the most vulnerable. He shut everything down.
Right.
And now he's saying, well, maybe I was a little, maybe I overreacted a little bit.
Yeah.
And so there's no shortage of hospitals.
No.
There's no shortage of ventilators. The thing with this virus, though, is that it spreads really quickly.
Right.
So that's the scariest part of it.
Right. And I don't think anyone's...
that's the part that we should take serious.
For sure. I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't be careful and we shouldn't make sure that we don't get infected, do our best not to get infected. I just think the level of response has been a little bit, I want to say overkill, but that's probably inappropriate, really.
Right. It's technically a flu virus, in spite of what everybody's screaming. You can't compare it to the flu.
Yeah.
You can't compare it to. It is the flu. It's under the category of influenza A. Go look it up. But anyway, it's bad. It's serious. It spreads really fast. But it's not the reason to switch over to communism.
No.
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. But isn't it interesting? This is the way things are with like being able to get groceries from the store and things like that. This is how it would be under communism. And, I've gone to great pains this week to say to people how it would have, this is how it would have been here if Jeremy Corbyn, who's like, the British Bernie, had won the election and not Boris Johnson. This has been a glimpse into what living under those regimes would be like.
It's funny that you say that, because I've been saying that this is a glimpse of having Obama back again, because it's like the same effect. Because he was interested in the managed decline of America.
Yeah.
And there was really no recovery under Barack Obama. In fact, technically, the recession got worse under him. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, for
Everybody
sure.
calls it the slowest recovery in history. What recovery? I don't remember any recovery.
Exactly.
Insult to injury, day after day after day. His policies just kept hurting the economy. Every day it got worse and worse and worse. Finally, we got President Trump in there, and he turned the whole damn ship around. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the speed at which his economy unleashed itself.
Absolutely.
It was like amazing.
So do you think that
because he undid the regulations and the taxes, everybody was just like unshackled. And it was like, yay, and everybody just like flew.
Do you think that
great.
once the pandemic status has been lifted, that that they'll be able to start to get back to normal fairly quickly with regards to the
Oh,
economy and everything
you
else, or
bet
do you think
you
it's going to take a while for that to
you
happen?
you bet your ass, and I don't mean to be rude, but yes, I mean we're gonna be like chickens bursting out of the hen house. I think was that you who posted what it would be like after the pandemic is gone and after the shackles are taken off. I saw this
Possibly.
this little meme or this gif or something of all these like chickens and roosters flying out of the hen house.
No, that wasn't
gangbusters,
me.
like, wee, we're free. All right, well, anyway, it was funny.
I
But
definitely.
yeah, when this is over, we're going to come roaring back with a vengeance never before seen. And we're going to see such
Absolutely.
a stark contrast between communism and capitalism like you would never imagine.
For sure. I can't wait for that to happen. So I want to move on because we are time bound. Z-list actor, serial aborter, and left-wing activist Alyssa Milano is calling on the Donald, aka President Trump, to convert his New York hotels into hospitals to treat coronavirus patients as the city continues to be overwhelmed by new cases of the illness. Now, she failed to note that the president only owns one hotel in New York City, the Trump International Hotel and Tower. Still, her tweet has been liked by a lot of Hollywood celebrities, including Don Cheadle, Lori Petty, and Michael McKean. Who does this wench think she is? On Wednesday, she wrote that President Trump's hotels have the bed capacity that the city urgently needs to accommodate the growing number of the sick. Isn't it time for this failed actress to shut the hell up?
Oh, yeah, definitely she should shut the hell up. It's so funny how everybody's a political commentator now.
Yes.
Just because they join the I hate Trump ship, they think they can comment on anything that's political and sound smart doing it. No, you sound like a complete moron. You always did. You always will. Shut up. You don't know anything about politics. You barely even know anything about acting or singing.
Yeah.
In fact, I never bought one single record or watched one single show you were on because you disgust me. Your fake laughter in the audience is fake, and it's disgusting, and it's plastic, and it is so far beneath me, I wouldn't even look at you. I don't even know who she is. I don't even recognize her name. I had to look her up when you mentioned it.
Well, she was in a TV show back in the day called Charmed, which was quite successful. But she was also in Who's the Boss with Danny. I was going to say Danny DeVito, Tony Danza, and part of the problem, I think, is a lot of these flagging actors and actresses and singers. You know, Bette Midler is the same. I love Bette Midler as a singer, but if she could just sing and shut the hell up, that would be great. You know, every day she's attacking the president. Now, I'm not saying that people aren't entitled to their opinion, but when did these people become influencers?
Yeah, because they're virtue signaling. They want to say, look at me, look how good I am, I care. Like President Trump doesn't care. I mean, he didn't need to take this on. He actually lost a ton of money by running for president and then becoming president. He donates his entire salary. Isn't that enough? I mean, she wants him to donate all his hotels too, which he divested himself of.
Yeah.
He divested himself of these hotels. He can't even use them for a hospital if he wanted to.
I mean,
nothing to do with them anymore.
No, absolutely.
Maybe his family runs them, but
some hotels.
And then also he's sending a gigantic hospital ship.
Yeah.
The size of an air freight carrier.
Absolutely.
Over to New York, and one was already got to California already, and it's a gigantic hospital, and they don't even need it. It's going to be empty.
Well, you know, some hotels.
What is she talking about? She doesn't even have the facts in front of her.
Of course she doesn't. She thought he had more than one hotel in New York. Some hotel chains in the UK have offered hotels if this pandemic, again in parentheses, gets kind of out of hand. But there are enough hospitals in New York to kind of cope with this. And if there is a need for an overflow, then surely we should be looking at that then. You know, the way I'm seeing this right now, this pandemic is kind of like we need to look at the mental health pandemic and the flu pandemic, if that's the case, in response to this too. Because this has been classified as a pandemic, as an over precautionary method, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. It's the projections of how bad this was going to be is similar to the projections as to how bad climate change was going to be.
Yeah.
In 2020, we were supposed to, New York was supposed to be underwater.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be walking on land right now on Long Island.
Oh, for sure.
To be on a half a mile of water right now.
I bought a boat. I bought a boat in anticipation. You know, changed my name to Noah and bought a boat, and I'm still waiting for it to happen. I mean,
I swear to God, I have a rowboat in my backyard that I've never used, and it's been sitting there for just such an emergency. I swear to God, I'm not kidding.
There you go, guys. CV has a rowboat for sale if you want to contact him. We are.
Put it on eBay.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure you get a good price for it. Maybe Melissa Milano would like to buy it to stick in her mouth to shut her up for a minute.
Can I say one more thing before we sign
You
off?
sure can.
Can we say one more thing?
Yes.
There's these professors from Stanford University who started this whole ball rolling, this panic, are now saying that the projections are wrong, that they're flawed,
right?
Because they was based on the death rate was based on known infected people that were known to be infected.
Yeah, and not new infections.
They didn't take into account the ones that were not.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think the response is going to? Because as far as I'm concerned, you know, even 2 weeks into this kind of lockdown, per se, people are climbing the walls. You know, Donald Trump wants to reassess it at Easter, which I think is a good point to assess. I don't think people can afford to do it beyond then, because they're already losing their jobs, their businesses, and their livelihoods, and can't pay their rent, and you know the knock-on effect to the economy alone. If by that assessment point there aren't the level of predicted new infections, they have to reassess this, surely.
Yeah, well, I definitely predict that these shackles will be taken off us by Easter, like Trump is aiming for, because he always, when he focuses on a project, it always comes in ahead of schedule and under budget.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank God we have Donald Trump as a president in the United States and Boris Johnson as prime minister in the UK, because the alternatives, imagine if we'd had Hillary and Jeremy Corbyn right now, we would have been in we'd probably all be in FEMA camps, you know, just as a precaution.
Yeah.
So we got to leave it.
I'm very grateful to our creator, and I'm very grateful to you
as
well for having me visit you today.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and stay safe, my friend. Mr. CV Berton from Freedom on Deck. Thanks a lot, CV. Take care. Bye-bye. That was CV Berton from Freedom on Deck. You have been listening to the Xander Gibb Show. Thanks for everyone that's made today's show possible. Thanks to Chet Martin, anchor from Freedom on Deck, and CV Berton, his co-host. On next week's show, I can't think who's going to be on, but make sure you sign up for the newsletter at xandergibb.com, and you will be the first to hear. Stick around. Catch me on The Real Side with Joe Messina, 7 Pacific, 8 Central, 9 Eastern, 10 Eastern. And have a great weekend. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Be skeptical, but most of all, be well. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. And Boris Johnson, I know you watch the show. I know what you watch the show, Boris. I want you to get better very soon, so you can have a face-to-face with Queen Elizabeth as soon as possible. So thank you very much, and thanks to everybody on the live feed. Please click the share button before you go. I know some of you are allergic to that. You cannot catch the virus by clicking the share button. I really do love you all. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were never bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and era don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh yes, sirree.